I can see Omo Lola. Yes. Okay, maybe I was refreshed. Julian, I can see Peace. I can see Favor. I can see Uche. I can see Dr. Lucy. Your story is amazing. I can see Miss Mercy. I can see Mayowa. I can see Nana, Justina, my Mrs. M. Olushola. I can see Eunice. I can see Chioma. I can see Janice. I can see. So sorry, I might not maybe expand on many names, but you guys have been amazing to me. I can see Tonia. I can see Tolulope. I can see Zuria, the storyteller. I can see Belkis. I hope I got it properly. I can see Melody. I can see Kristen, Gloria. I can see Ugo. My goodness, it keeps refreshing. Eh, okay, just I can see Christian. Yes, I saw him. I really enjoyed your live yesterday together with Margaret. It was amazing. I can see. Hmm, I can see Adu Joshua Opayemi. That's exactly how he sounds. Okay, I'm just recreating that. I can see Chuku. Chuku. Sorry, it's caught. Then I can see the delectable precious Obo. I can see Miss Oma, Mary Joseph, Samuel, Sorrow. I can see Maria. I can see Blessing. I can see Dr. Amaka, my Dr. Amaka. I can see Femi. I can see, oh God, it's becoming a lot. I really apologize. The goal was actually to just spotlight those in the first minutes. But then you know that we love you. Thank you so much for showing up for us. And the challenge I'm having is that it keeps refreshing. So some people who have called them before actually appear again. But I can see Dr. Bernice. Dr. Bernice hosted us yesterday at her live event. So please, if you are a Medicare still trying to find your voice on LinkedIn, kindly find the holistic medic series. I mean, I had a swell time yesterday. It was totally amazing. Okay, Shalom, I can see your hands up. It's not yet time for that. I don't know if you can hear me clearly, but it's not yet time for that. So you could, yes, you can hear me. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you everyone for showing up. Just like we said, I had promised we're going to be spotlighting the first 20 people. I think spotlighting everybody at once might not really give it that effect I'm looking for. So the goal for this week is that I would have to break the 20 persons into four chunks. So every day, four people alongside with our lead speakers. Thank you so much for honoring us. Like we keep pushing. The goal of this platform is to get as much more information to career professionals and business owners as quick as possible. Like our goal is a total overhaul and a turnaround in your business game. And as the topic relates today, I'm talking about your storytelling game and as well as your ability to generate leads. So, hello, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. You guys know how I like to start all the time. Esteemed guests and our career professional is a very great Sunday morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Because already I can see a lot of people spread through the globe. I want to welcome you to our Phoenix Gates conference. Like I call it a conference because if you literally pay attention to everything we churn out weekly in this space, you know that it is well prepared for. It's not necessarily just an audio room where you just come and just glean anything, or you'd it's not an audio room that you probably just coming and be casual about. Is that points are crossing your head that will literally move your business to another level in split seconds. So you know how my advice always comes: get your writing materials. So if you're just joining us for the first time, I am so pleased alongside this lead keynote speakers together with me to celebrate you immensely. Like you know, I am Dr. Vivian Magnus. I am the founder and the president of the Phoenix Gates Group, right? I am your honorable host this evening, and we're gonna have some flash. We're gonna have something hot coming in, but then it's gonna be like a surprise. Like I would always say, kindly indulge us to be available like to the end of this meeting because we always prepare something you can benefit from literally at a very cheaper rate at the end of the event, right? So some more rumors has it this week that if you share our event, you're likely going to land your first gig on LinkedIn. That is, if you haven't landed it already. And then, well, the whole crux of the entire matter is this, that you're going to be helping someone in their journey this evening if you share this post. So I am going to admonish you in the kindest way possible. Please help us by sharing. I think I get some of the notifications. So just help us. We are watching. We will spotlight you where necessary, but just help us move this event. We want more people to be impacted at once. So it means that when you get the opportunity to ask questions, imagine asking questions and then you're having like 300 people listening to your ideas as well. So this is basically an event that was born out of collaboration and effort from everybody in the Phoenix Gates community. So, like you all know, Phoenix Gates group believes in total immersion. So, I'm saying this because if I had my way with the energy in my reserve, literally we'll be having events every day. I don't mind. The goal is what? Get everybody into the right environment enough for them to evolve, or I would say this, positioning people for success much more than making them strive so hard to succeed. So the goal is, if you stay long enough, you will evolve. Like if you keep hearing these things, I mean, some people get wearied of success stories. Well, spoilers alert, not me. I like to see people who are doing excellently well. I go into your DMs. I don't know, most of the people who seem to be the forefront of LinkedIn, you cannot say that you have not seen me in your DM. Or probably if you use the premium, you would not say that you've not seen me search you. So it's basically what we do here in the Phoenix Gate, and we encourage people to consistently stay in an environment where people are winning, where people are sharing their struggles and how they come out of it. So that's literally the real crux of this event, right? So one other thing I would want to put in your mind, probably you're just here saying, oh, let you just hear all the speakers calling money. I mean, expanding your ideas, your thoughts. I want you to leverage this opportunity. You really will find somewhere in the internet right now having this much people gathered in one place. So I am also admonishing you to take this opportunity to network. Go, just click on the person probably sitting beside you or next to you and just say, hi, I'm from the Phoenix Gates. I'm currently at the Phoenix Gate event and I don't mind if you connect with me. So I'm saying that you actually could build a network of 100 people at least. Now this is just the beginning. Hopefully we build as the event I mean progresses, but then take the opportunity of everybody around you, get to network. The more the bigger the community, the all better for all of us, and then the more likelihood you would get to probably get that solution or render that service that you've been hoping to render. So now, the whole idea behind today's meeting was this: we totally understand that people are currently having difficulties creating engaging and relevant content. For me, I think every time I see a content, like maybe let's say a salesy content, I literally cringe. And then I know a lot of people who do that every day. I mean, imagine posting 7 days a week and nobody is engaging on your, what did you call it now, on your post, and then you are not bothered. That's 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 a bit crazy, right? Because the thing is, if people don't get to engage your posts, that's the first step. Other people might not see it, even though your impressions are keep going up or something, or it can also as well affect your impression as well. So we're talking about your post struggling for visibility, engagements. This will eventually affect, can not might, because there are a few people who probably have gotten their ways through maybe by entering DMs and getting relevant job opportunities, but this can also as well affect your job opportunity. So I'm saying all this, right? I'm not blabbering or probably just putting forth arguments. I just want you to paint a picture of why probably you're not doing so well and what you can do. And then if you're doing so well, can you improve on what you already have on ground? Well, that is why we are here. So I know that you can as well remember the last time you posted and it was just you and your family members. I just wanted to I just wanted to come up with something fun this evening, right? So I'm sure you can remember the last time you posted and it was just you and your family members that commented on that post. But then we're hoping that by the end of this event, it will literally be the end of crickets, right? And that's what Hamoma calls it sometimes. So, well, speaking of family members, you heard me talk about finding the Phoenix Gates Group. Phoenix Gates Group is basically a community of professionals wired to help like each other succeed. So if you see people on this live, okay, maybe I'll just give a few of us an opportunity. Please, if you're in the Phoenix Gates Group, I want you to react by the love emoji so that I'm sure that you're all hearing me, and then so that we can all know, okay, perfect. Chisholm, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Halil. So if you're in the Phoenix Gates Group, I'm going to give you one more opportunity. Kindly just react so that we all know, okay, that you're part of us and you're here. Okay, so this is me spotlighting the people who have been moving and shaking us, literally. So I said, speaking of family members, okay, we are a community of professionals who are wired to help like everybody who comes in our direction, okay, succeed. So today's meeting is actually just one of our expressions. I'm talking about we meet every Sunday. It's more like a radio channel now, but we call it a conference. 5 p.m. GMT plus one. So you can convert it to your timing. So we actually want to share in the 134.5 million people showing up daily. So as to provide some form of support, aid your journey, and then help you stand out. Then our community is known for strength. You know, the best thing to do is to spotlight what your community can offer. So if you see us showing up at a meeting like this, is energy for energy, resilience, ginger. Sundays can be quite harmful, a handful, but then we have made up our minds that this is what we want to do. We all want to improve. We want to get the best and the best of speakers come weekly to speak to us. So this is me also opening up my DM. Like if you are sure that you are excellent at what you do and you'd want to share with us, like we're not so picky, but then we want results because of course results can command some form of attention. So it could also be you building to show up and teach at the Phoenix Kids Group. So basically that's what we do. Along this, we offer other services like setting. We also facilitate workforce training. We have digital products. Very soon our books will be up. Like we have meetings. A lot of you who have been following us for a while, I'm sure you've noticed that we have our Spotify channel all already up. So all these meetings will be available for a re-listening, right? So one maybe I'll give you a spoiler alert as well. Phoenix Gates Group HQ, just type it on all other platforms. You're literally going to see us sitting pretty there. So but this meeting here, we are using Phoenix Gates Group, so kindly just go right away and follow us from this event. Then I just want to say that we are, like I emphasized, we are currently accepting collaborative opportunities, so we are totally open. We're not selective at all. I'm sure I've already gotten into a lot of your DMs. For our next week event is already up with teaming speakers. Hey God, boiling teaming speakers. I mean, I'm talking about people who will talk so much about starting up a business, from skills down to the law, like every legal backing you need to start up of a business, right? All will be part of the things that you're going to be meeting for next week. But then let me reiterate everything I've said in such a short time, just in case you're just joining us again. We offer you all the support you need. Then we also influence, and as well we have digital products, and then we're currently on all platforms. So do well to just hit me up in my DM, and then we move. So back to the topic of the day. Tonight we're going to be discussing the topic unlocking the power of storytelling to increase sales, generate leads, while compelling while okay, generating leads while creating compelling content on all platforms. I beg your pardon. So I'm totally excited because we have been divided into two groups. Essentially, some people tell stories and they don't make money, while some people don't even tell stories and they don't make money as well. So they might end up as well, and having poor engagement. So, but tonight we're going to be bringing some form of balance. But then, if you notice this topic, there are actually two huge topics together: lead generation, as well as what? As well as storytelling. So, we had to break it into two so that we can help you understand what you need to know, why you need to generate leads, why you should probably not just stick to telling stories without having results for your stories. So tonight, without further ado, I'm going to be moving straight to the first keynote speaker, right? I'm going to give us an opportunity. So, for the first half of this event, we're essentially going to discuss everything about generating leads. Some of us don't even know that we should generate leads. We end up selling things. We don't even collect contacts and all that. I don't want to do any form of spoilers. Let me leave that to our lead speakers. So, for our first keynote speaker tonight, for me, it's beyond words. One of the hardest workers I've ever met, like ever met, especially in recent times. She's an epitome of excellence and beauty. I mean, I had an opportunity to work on a project with her, and she literally did not sleep until I had my my product right on hand. Like I've never seen anything like that before. I know that usually the narrative for most digital marketers or digital product sellers would be some form of delays, or they will switch off, or they will forget about you and all that. But then I met this one, and then the story was totally different. She's a seasoned digital marketing expert. She boasts of an impressive portfolio spanning over 8 years. She specializes in social media marketing, branding, designs, and promotional campaigns. She has successfully collaborated with several big brands, right, and creators, including us. So if you've seen us on every platform, this particular lady sat down and said, you know what, Dr. Vivian, you cannot just grow on one platform. What if someone sees your growth here and decides to duplicate your your platform on other platforms? What are you going to do? How can you claim your name? So I could tell you a lot about her, but then I would want you to hear for yourself. So please, Temitokoya, could you just turn on your mic? Let me be sure that we can all hear you. I want you to just say hello to everyone right now. Please, I want to see the emojis as we celebrate her tonight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian, for this beautiful introduction. Good evening, everyone. It feels so good to be on this platform. My name is Temitope Olagunju. I'm a digital marketing expert, 8 years in. Thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be one of the speakers for tonight, and I can't wait to submit my contribution.
Amazing, amazing. So like I told you guys, we're going to be just the beginning of this event is that we're going to probably essentially take you through why we think you should pay attention to every avenue through which you would generate some form of leads. So we had to bring the digital marketing expert to tell us what to do. Then we go to lead generation, and then the storytelling. I know all of you are already so excited. So I'm going to be asking you a question now, Temitope. You're going to please help us answer, right? I had to point out some of the things I really want, because I know a lot of people probably have in their mind when they were showing up for this event. Why is a robust social media presence crucial for individuals, institutions, and businesses in today's digitally driven landscape? I'm going to take it again. Why is a robust, the key word here is robust, social media presence crucial for individuals, institutions, and businesses in today's digital driven landscape? Now, this is the first question I'm going to ask you, but then I want you to probably just take out this points. What are the steps one can take to establish their presence on other social media platforms? And are there risks? Is there any risks of growing in just one platform? So, the next voice you're all going to be hearing is that of Temitope. Temitope, the mic is yours. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Vivian. Good evening once again, everyone. Wonderful appreciation to everyone that showed up this evening for this event. I appreciate the speakers, and I honor you, Dr. Vivian. You've been fantastic. You've done so well for me, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So, to answer your question, in today's socially driven age, having a robust social media presence is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. Whether you're an individual, an institution, or a business, social media plays a critical role in establishing your brand, building relationships, driving growth, increasing credibility, engaging customers, and driving revenue and maintaining a competitive edge. When you invest your time, I usually tell people that when they invest their time and resources into social media, they get to reap significant benefits and achieve long term success. I know someone may say, okay, but I can't manage being on all social media platforms. What am I looking for? My response will be, of course, you can. Why put all your eggs in one basket, right? I mean, it's a great thing that as a brand or an individual, you've invested your time and effort into building a strong presence on one social media platform. However, relying on one platform can limit your reach and growth. Even Ronaldo moved to YouTube to tap into a wider audience after years of building on other social media platforms. Imagine having 2.7 billion users on Facebook, 1.2 billion users on Instagram, 440 million users on Twitter, 700 million users on LinkedIn. I hope you're paying attention. 700 million users on LinkedIn, 2 billion users on YouTube, 655 million users on TikTok, 320 million users on Pinterest, 654.4 million monthly users on Snapchat, and you decide to stick to just one platform. Have you considered scenarios where you lose your accounts on one social media platform and you've been building for years because of a tiny bot error? Where would you begin to rebuild? How do you convince new customers that you were once on LinkedIn and you lost the account? What evidences would you have as proof of excellent services and past sales? Think about that. Now, imagine another scenario where, as you build on LinkedIn, you simultaneously build on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, then you lost just your LinkedIn account. Do you know that there are date stamps of your past posts on social media platforms to serve as an evidence of sales and interactions, even though you just lost your LinkedIn account? This is why we advise brands, individuals to expand beyond one social media platform. Because believe it or not, before any conscious person patronizes your business, they need to have seen your previous jobs to convince them that you know your job and can deliver swiftly. And if they go through your social media pages and check your timestamps, they are assured of credibility. They are certain you are not a scam. But if you lost that one account you focused on and rushed to post all evidences because you just got a new client that is trying to check up on you, your potential customer will think that you're a scam. You're a scam who only needs fast money. I've been there many times and I check business pages before I patronize them. And once I notice that all your posts are made in just one day, I run because I know I'm getting duped by such accounts. So by spreading across different social media platforms, you will tap into new audiences, cater to various demographics, reinforce your brand identity across multiple social media platforms, demonstrate professionalism. Just like Dr. Vivian said, if you type Phoenix Gate HQ on every social media platforms, you will see the magic that is happening right there. You need to scale beyond one particular social media platform and spread across others because all your clients are not going to come from one social media platform. This is why I encourage people when they come to me and say, oh, Temitope, I'm seeing that you're active on Instagram. I'm seeing that you're active on TikTok. I'm seeing that. How do you manage all of that? Those things are not necessary. Just fix your mind on LinkedIn and get all your clients. I try to explain to them that you cannot be on just one social media platform because you are basically concentrating on a particular demographic without branching through other demographics. I'm sure people don't know that on TikTok, we have TikTok Live, and on Instagram, you can be gifted for posting a video on Instagram. We have gifts on Reels right now. Instagram is a new feature Instagram just rolled out. Your followers can actually watch your videos and say, okay, I love this video, and gift you. There's an action button that allows them to gift you on Instagram Reels. It's a new feature that just rolled out. In fact, all social media platforms now have now pay influencers once they cross a particular impression on their content. I would like to take a personal example. My business, Violet Promotion, is a perfect example. I've been active across other social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, getting some jobs and then referrals. But my reach wasn't enough for me. I wanted to try other apps to test the waters. So in August, I joined LinkedIn cluelessly. After 1 month of going from one growth challenge to another, a friend, Gadima, I don't know if she's here. Gadima, if you're here, please send me an emoji. She actually called me and said, you know what? There's a community on LinkedIn, and I'm sure if you join this community, you'll be able to grow your presence and network with like minded individuals. And in 2 weeks of joining this community, Phoenix Gate community, and participating in our community growth activities, I recorded not less than 30 inquiries of people needing my services. It didn't end there. I also secured my first LinkedIn job, all in less than 2 weeks of establishing my social media presence. Now, I tell you about this. Let me tell you about this client, Joshua Kintemi. Joshua, are you here? If you're here, say hi. Okay, Joshua. You see, when Joshua reached out to me after he saw my profile revamp I did for Phoenix Gate across all social media platforms, he said to me, I need you. My profile is a mess. Can you fix this for me? Imagine, as a digital marketing expert, you know, seeing people come to my page because of the results I was able to generate and giving me jobs back to back. I was so happy and elated. I replied to him, I said, Joshua, don't worry. I'm here for you. I'll fix this for you. After all, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor of digital marketing. Anyway, Joshua and I worked on his profile, and then the result, the result was robust indeed. So as an expert, I would definitely encourage you to have a robust social media platform, spread across multiple social media platforms, and tap into wider audience, tap into wider audience and benefits of being on those platforms. I'll rest here. Thank you.
Amazing. Can we show some reactions? So much reactions. She needs to know what she just did. Amazing. This is so amazing. I mean, one of the things she said was for you to tap into different populations, because of course I think during one of our discussions she emphatically was telling me that the audience on TikTok is not the audience on LinkedIn. So if you have a product that is teaming for the younger generation or Gen Zs, you might as well take your company right there, even as you probably have strengthened your growth here. And then another thing she also added was that, okay, if you are into the beauty industry and you've currently not been having sales, you might as well consider, I think Snapchat was this Snapchat and Pinterest, right? I don't know, I think you probably can correct me on that maybe when you're going to speak again. But then this is so lovely. So the goal is, what do you do when all of a sudden you're banned in a particular platform? Are you going to suddenly remain clueless, or you give up, or would you rather just, I think one of the things she encouraged me to do was this: just set it up. Even if you're not going to be posting every day, don't let any other person take up the name of your company or impersonate you. So the goal is, why don't you have a Facebook account? I don't need it. Set it up and leave it there. Like I told them, I think in yesterday's meeting, in holistic medic rights series, one of the things I told them was this: when I had set up my LinkedIn account, I think it was in 2017, I left it and walked away. By the time I returned this year, I'd already seen like 600 followers or connection followers, actually, because I didn't connect with them. So that's how it works. Just set it up. It's more like going to be some form of security for your business. So now I'm not talking about individuals. Maybe as a person, you don't mind. You do. You could say I'm an introvert. I'm not interested in all sorts. But then you might just want to go ahead and set it up for your company's sake. secure your domain so that you don't have to buy it at a very expensive price. So the next person that is going to be speaking, our next keynote speaker, all the way from Finland. Hey, I'm gonna just probably just give you all some form of introduction for him, and then he says hello, then the questions come. Okay. He is an industrial engineer, a business leader with over 19 years, right? I'm saying it very well so that you understand that your pen and paper should already be coming out from wherever it is. 19 years of entrepreneurial and executive experience, right? He has founded and led multiple countries in the multiple companies. I beg your pardon. In the Middle East and Europe, he founded the famous Intelligent Glow, a firm dedicated to helping SMEs, small and medium enterprises, to excel in the global market. His company focuses on sales, lead generation to closing deals. So I've told you all who was a better person to talk about lead generation but our delectable Mehdi Mohammedi. I hope I pronounced your name very well. Just go ahead and say hello to everyone this evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian. It was really great introducing, and I really appreciate your hosting today, this evening, and also this event. Hello,
Thank
everyone, and thank you very much for participation. Yes, as Dr. Vivian introduced, very great. My name is Mehdi, and I established my first company in 2005 in Middle East, but then also I continued my entrepreneurship and I established my second company in 2016 in Finland. And since then, we are helping our clients in sales, marketing, and when we are talking about sales and marketing, it means lead generation. Because when no lead, when no customer, there is no business.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction and hello right there. So I'm going to be asking you straight the questions that it's more like a point, maybe a key point of what you probably will talk about this evening. How do we identify our ideal customers? Could you just help us? Because when I was preparing for this event, I realized that a lot of people were totally clueless about lead generation. What is lead generation? Could you help us with the importance of lead capturing? I mean, a lot of people do businesses every day and they don't capture their leads. Then you could just help us by just pointing out what tools can we use to capture those leads. We want to know about apps where necessary, forms where necessary, tools generally used for capturing leads, and then what are the can you share a successful lead magnet ideas? So that's basically all the questions we have for you, sir. So the floor is yours. Do have an amazing time teaching us.
Thank you so much for asking very interesting questions. I think that these questions and answering them could help every business to grow and to thrive. Actually, when we are talking about the business, as I told you, we should talk about the customers. What is lead? I think most of our guests knows that everyone who is interested in our products or services is a lead. When he or she or they get fit with or condition, maybe about the delivery, about the price, about the quantity, everything, then it is a prospect. I'm talking about the funnel, about the sales funnel actually. And when he or she decides after negotiation to buy, then it turns to the customer, and maybe after that, the loyal customer. Just I want to ask one question. What is the difference between have 50 leads every month? It means 50 potential customers, not customers. 50 potential customers for a business, or maybe only 3 customers or potential customers. When our business has more than 50 or 100 potential customers, then we have right and power to choose whether we work with which of them. And also we could find the best ICP, ideal customer profiles. But when we have only 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or few potential customers, they get to choose whether work with us or not. Then it's really worth to do our best to use the best techniques and tools to generate lead and qualified leads. Imagine you have a very great product or service and many people are interested, but most of them do not have enough budget. most of them do not need now, or they are not going to buy because they are not decision makers. It means they are not qualified leads. We need qualified leads here. But next question, for finding leads or for generating leads, we need to know who is our ideal customer profiles. Who could we be? Or potential customer, and where they are looking for their requirements, needs, which could be our product, and how we could say then that, hello, our business is existed, I am here, we could help you with our products, with our services, with our solutions. Why you are not buying it? Because we have what exactly you want in the competitive market. Here it is where we need to know where to go. Actually, in our company, we are helping mostly in the B2B clients, the people who are doing business to business. When you are talking about business to business, LinkedIn is one of the best platforms, at least in the social media. That's why most of our focus is on first website and SEO friendly contents in the website, and secondly about the LinkedIn. And also, they both are aligned together, they are related together. When we are posting something in the LinkedIn, when we are doing any activities in the LinkedIn, always will relate it to the website, and also from website to the LinkedIn. But what is, again, this question, what is lead generation? It means that we need to attract interested customers, potential customers. When they understood that our business has existed, we are here, we could help them, we could attract them to contact us, or give us some information that we could contact us, maybe via lead magnets or some other things. It is exactly what we need for any business. And now we are helping on European most of the time clients, because most of our clients are European, and also from Middle East also, but some of them, I could say most of them, European. We help them by the platforms and tools to generate leads. Where is my ICP? How could I find my ideal customer? How my customer is thinking? For a moment, I want to learn and I want to think like my customer. Where my customer is looking for their requirements, how they are looking for their requirements, when I'm doing consistently maybe content creation in different ways, maybe text, image, video, audio, and other things, and I'm sharing not only in LinkedIn, in my website, and in all other platforms. Yes, for sure, with all of the platforms which I could, as much as I can. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, audio, and podcast, and the others. But now I want to focus on LinkedIn. When I'm doing and creating contents consistently in the LinkedIn, it's a chance that many people could see it. Then I should engage with the others and help others to see it more. When I'm engaging, it means that I make a chance for myself to be seen by them also, and also by the network also. Then I should grow my network as much as I can in the LinkedIn. If I want to get connected one by one with the people, it is very difficult and maybe time consuming. It doesn't work. For sure, we are going to do it, but why we are not going through the LinkedIn groups and also through the Sales Navigator? When we are talking about the LinkedIn after content creation, we need to know exactly how to use Sales Navigator to find the best ICP there, how to get engaged with them, how to find them, how to connect with them, and how to make them interested in our products, services, and solutions. To convert them from maybe a lead or qualified lead to a loyal customer in a journey, in a very, very important journey, which could be really interesting and help my customer. When I'm going through the LinkedIn, I could do many things for finding my ideal customers. For example, I'm going to share contents about the industry, about the education, about the maybe case studies, about the testimonial, about my customers who are really happy because of my businesses, about the polls and surveys, and one of the most important also webinars, which in them I am going to share what could help my customers to know more about maybe what they need to know, and also inside that I'm going to do lead generation also. If I want to tell you what are the best tools in the LinkedIn now for the lead generation, I would say maybe Sales Navigator could help us a lot. But Sales Navigator is only one tool. When we are doing content creation consistently and linking it with our website, finding the ICP in LinkedIn groups and also in our network, to think like our customer, how do they think, where they are, and how we could be like them, and how to, I mean, to think that how could they find what they want and exactly be there, then making interesting content and making Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Merdi. This is amazing. So amazing. So he has said a lot. I mean, you have to know the kind of persons you are relating with. He actually also said that there are some customers that will never be customers, even if you spend 10 hours with them trying to convince them. So the goal is to find out people, or more like identify people by their communication. Those price oriented customers, you might need to spend less time with them. Then quality oriented customers, try and spend more time. And then he said you can actually find both. And then he said something about people generally, leads are generally people who are interested in whatever you have to sell. So a lead is someone who is interested. So when your lead, um when the person eventually is not ready to pay the money or doesn't have the money at hand, he is not a qualified lead. But when he becomes qualified, he becomes a buyer who will eventually become a loyal customer if he now buys over and over again. And then one of the things he said was that LinkedIn is actually a place for B2Bs, that's business to business. So that's why he was saying people like who do graphics, websites, you might need to sit well here because this is actually your space. Then, like I said, maybe on a second turnaround, Timitope might want to share with us what businesses are stronger in what networks or what social media platform. So basically, he said content is king, right? Content is king. And then on this place, on LinkedIn, sharing content is one of the major ways, right, to get your customers. And then he said something about also using the sales navigator, but then sharing contents is quite sustainable. Then one of the other things he spoke about is the fact that if you are still yet to find out who your ICP is, that is your ideal customer profile. Some people call it the brand persona. Like, who are the people that you're reaching out to? If you're yet to find out, all you have to do is probably just type in your search. You would find out from just typing on your search, what you see is you find out groups. And when you get into those groups, you see what they generally are sharing about. It might just help you develop a persona. That's if it's not clear to you the kind of people that you're talking to. Then one thing that he said was that you have to think amazing, think like your customer. Think, maybe I would ask, you have to think ahead of your customers, because some people might even have a pain point and they don't know that it's a pain point. So that is where content creation and storytelling comes in. Some people might actually be okay. For me now, I can talk about the healthcare system, where some people are probably there might be some people right now in the audience maybe noticing that they've gone to urinate more than 10 times already today. and they are not thinking that there's anything wrong with it. Someone can just be suggesting to themselves that, oh, I drank more water. They don't know that it's urinary tract infection. I'm sure as I'm saying it now, I've I've actually enlightened somebody. So this is your pain point right now. Your pain point right now is that you're peeing too frequently. You might not sit still for an event or for a life, or for that means you might have to be shuttling from the toilet back to your laptop and back again. So sometimes you might need to think ahead of your customer, generate pain points, and sometimes stories are the best way actually to relate some of these problems. So he said the best way to grow is also networking. That's why you're here. Like if you're just joining us for the first time, I'll admonish whoever is beside you, try and reach out to them. Hey, hi, I'm just coming from the Phoenix Gate event, how are you doing? I'd like to meet you and all that. Your customer might be in that network, or somebody that might be maybe not necessarily the person. So don't be too business conscious. Like I've seen a lot of people come into my DM. You just say hi, and the next thing is I sell, I sell. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? At least pretend that you're not needing anything, right? Just pretend. That's how it works. I know that everybody, like I said in one of my posts, and I think the next speaker will also probably get an opportunity to elaborate that, right? She also said something like that in her post. Like everybody came on LinkedIn to actually find something, some form of, yes, maybe B2Bs, B2Cs, right? As the case may be. So you don't come into people's DM sounding desperate, like you can't even establish some form of connection or networking. So you can see from what Merdi said. He said the goal is to have loyal customers, and sometimes those stories is not necessarily stories you tell on your content. Yes, I would even also talk about Temitope's part of her reviews, or more like, well, I can call it testimonial right now. On someone saw the way she commented on someone's post, and she got a job, or more like a contract, from a comment. So for some of you who are thinking you're fast, you're trying to be fast, you just want to be everywhere, you don't want to be committed, you don't want to maybe invest your emotions even to commenting on people's posts, you are actually losing customers. That's just the truth. So he said, what, think as your customer. So if you were the one that somebody came into their DMs, how would you want somebody positioned? How about going through, just clicking on the person's profile and just looking at what the person does and say, oh, I can see that you're the founder of this. How is it coming? It's not, oh, founder of Phoenix Gate, I can see you need a website. I mean, you're so blatant. Me, well, most of the time, I barely even have time to reply. I wish I had. If not, trust me, my lectures always starts up from anywhere. I can just say, sir, do you think this is really sustainable? I mean, you just throw in random salesy messages both on DMs and on people's posts. That's quite unfair, right? So basically, he said, think as your customer, know their pain points, help them solve their problems, network, be as relatable in your conversations as possible. So our next keynote speaker is a passionate writer and a storyteller who specializes in copywriting. I mean, for several years, she has helped intentional businesses. The key word is intentional businesses, because it seems like some businesses don't care, right? She has helped intentional businesses stand out in in sales. I mean, I'm talking about $25,000 head tickets for a particular client whom she optimized their profile, as well as she helps in ghostwriting a lot of CEOs posts. She is the founder of Elimas Creative, right? So the next voice you're going to be hearing is that of Ella Wrights. I call her Ella Wrights, but she's Ella Manuela. So could you just turn on your mic and say something? Say hello to everyone. Ella Manuel. Okay, I don't know. Can you hear my voice? Ella Manuel, can you hear me?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I could hear your voice. I just did not know what to do on this screen. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to be quickly asking you questions. Okay, it's simple. What types of contents have the most effect on storytelling? Then I've noticed this about you a lot. Like I follow your posts closely. Can you share tips for writing engaging headlines, posts, and carousels here on LinkedIn? Then I have just one last question. This is from me to you. Is call to action even necessary at all in lead generation? But then I just wanted to just help us down your journey, as well as just tell us what kind of content you think makes the most effective storytelling. The mic is yours, Ella.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian, for having me here. This came very unexpectedly. You just entered my DM. I was like, "Are you busy on Sunday?" No. Okay, we want you. And I'm like, "Okay, okay, storytelling, that's fine. Call me anytime." So thank you so much for having me. My name is Emanuela Emmanuel. It's Ella Manuel for short. Like she already said, I'm a copywriter and a social media manager. And for 3 years, I've helped intentional businesses stand out, grow, and increase their perceived value through copywriting, social media management, content creation, content strategy, tone of voice branding, website copywriting, and all of that. Now, doing all of this means that you have to consistently write to people you have never known, people you have never heard of, target audience that you don't even know if people have this kind of pain point. But then, how do you go about this? One thing that has really separated me, one thing I differentiate myself with, is my ability to understand people's pain and write stories that resonate with them around that pain point. Now, you may think that, oh, this person is just gifted, oh, she's just a good writer. It's not. That is not the case. These things are frameworks that you can learn. Storytelling is something that you can learn. No one is born a good storyteller. You learn by applying frameworks. You learn by understanding how people process information. You learn by understanding how people think. And then you can say, if people think this way, I think I can feed them this information this way and it will resonate with them. Now, I wanted to choose a particular movie that everyone understands, which is almost everyone has watched, which is Wanted. It's one old movie acted by Angelina Jolie or something. When they recruited a boy to become an assassin, they gave him his first job and he refused to do it. His question was, "Why do I have to kill this person?" And every other person was trying to say, "Oh, we just do what we are told, we just do what we are told." But it did not work with him until Angelina Jolie told him the story of herself, how her father was killed, and if somebody had done that, her father would not have died. Something around that. He went into this profession because of someone else's story. Now, storytelling is, as far as people can resonate with your story, you can get them. It doesn't have to have perfect ending. It doesn't have to have good ending. Besides, we are all humans and life is not perfect, right? So when you ask what kind of content are most effective for storytelling, I would say every kind of content is effective for storytelling. You don't have to say, "Oh, this one is not, this one is not." Let me give good examples. I teach this and I say that content pillars, um, a lot of people now say that content pillars are your content topics where you talk about the four topics you want to talk about. But being in social media management for a long time, I want to take you back to what content pillars are. We have education, inspiration, promotion, entertainment, and all of that, right? So let's say I want to put out an educational content and I want it in the form of storytelling. You can share your career stories where you share moments that you've gone through a tough situation at work. For example, I was tasked with boosting engagement and no one knew where to start. Here's how I did it. Now, this is something for a social media manager. You begin to tell your story about how you were able to boost an engagement. Client success story is also where you can demonstrate storytelling, where you can share how you help the client overcome challenge. Example, I one of my clients was struggling with a dip in sales. Now that is where I got this from, where Mr. Midi was speaking. One of my clients was struggling with a dip in sales. Here's the strategy that turned it around. Now you give that kind of strategy, people who are suffering from a dip in sales will want to we want to reason, we will connect with that story, would connect with the process you have given, and would want to reach out to you. How about personal stories? Now we're talking about inspiration. The client stories was under promotion. Now we are talking about personal stories, inspiration. This means that you can use storytelling to create any kind of content around either entertaining posts, educational posts, inspirational posts, or promotional posts. For inspiration, you can say, a year ago, I couldn't speak in public. Here is how I overcame that fear. I think I made a kind of post like that, using it to teach a certain framework in storytelling. How about wins and fails? You can highlight your personal win or a fail by showing readers what you did to take what you did or what you went through in your experience. For example, I tried something new in my career last year and it bombed. Here's the lesson and how you can avoid making same mistakes. Now, I said it earlier, your stories do not have to be perfect. They must not have perfect ending. People connect to stories when they see themselves, especially when they are not, oh, this person, it started from the beginning, all high, all high, all high, all high, and then you end all high. So that is what storytelling is all about, having getting people to relate with your experiences, getting people to relate even with your imagination, or getting people to relate with other people's story that you know of. Your client story, success story, failure story, what is happening at work, your boss's story, what happened in your office. These are things you can create content from. Now you would want to say, how do you write these headlines? It's just a way of practicing presence, and this is what I teach many of my students, practicing presence. Because people say, I don't know where to start from. Practice presence. There are thousands of things going through your day every day. There are thousands of thoughts going through your head. Those things are thousands of content. If you practice intentional presence in yourself, in your environment, it's enough to generate a lot of storytelling content that you do not need a content bank. You do not need to go through swipe files, and all your content will be organic and authentic. And these are the kind of content that really make people grow, because no one can duplicate your experience. No one can duplicate your storytelling or your thoughts. This is what happened to you. This is your perspective. This is your point of view. Really, this is what makes great leaders. And on my story, because I didn't want to go into those deep frameworks here today. I know there's a lineup for speakers. I will just highlight that there are a lot of frameworks you can use for storytelling. I share these things on my post where I talk about the STAR framework, the SLAY framework, Matrix storytelling, the what, how, and who, what, who, and how framework, the PASS framework. That's a very common one. Um, problem, problem action solution. We have the AIDAS framework. We have so many frameworks for these things, and I there are lots of ways you can apply these frameworks to create good and authentic story. Now, just to round up on storytelling, I want to tell you the three secrets of storytelling. Start with time and location. A lot of storytelling starts with time and location, where if you remember the folklore you grew up with, you will hear things like um, once upon a time, story, once upon a time. That is already taking you back to a place and time. If you listen to all the examples of the stories I gave, I was tasked with something that is taking you back to a time. One of my clients was struggling. That is taking you back to a time. A year ago, I couldn't speak in public. That is taking you back to a time and a location. So when you are able to transport people out of their reality, you have taken them to a place where you can now connect with them and feed them with any kind of information you want, and they will connect with you. So the first step is to take people out of their reality. You can also see many copywriters start with imagine this. It is just a way of taking people out of their present reality before feeding them an information. This is so that they can relate with you on a fairy tale level. Then you move on to conversation. How do you, what happened in that situation? What is the situation? What happened in that situation? What is the dialogue? What is the conversation? That is just like going around the details of the story, then end with moral of the story. A story that does not have lesson is wasted, is a wasted story. And we always say, I particularly always say that good marketing is good story told. So if people buy from you, it is because you ended with a moral that they need to buy from you. That is storytelling. Finally, on storytelling, I'll end with 5 principles of storytelling, and which I will not go into details here. You can always check my post where I teach a lot about storytelling. 5 principles of storytelling. It must be simple, it must be unexpected, it must be concrete, it must have credibility, and it must have emotions. Because I want to move very fast to the other questions Dr. Vivian has asked, permit me not to go into those. And Dr. Vivian asked again how, if they are writing tips for engaging headlines, posts, carousels, and all of that. Now, I say this a lot, that when you are writing online, the platform you are writing determines how you present your information. For example, I made a long post about a copywriter reached out to me in my DM and asked me to vet his mock work, his mock portfolio. And the first thing I noticed was that his headline placement for an email was wrong. It was more of a headline for Twitter. The way you write headlines that capture people's attention on Twitter, on Instagram, Reels, Facebook, and all of those platforms are different. Now, being a social media manager, I can easily differentiate and tell you that. But because we are on LinkedIn, let's stick to what happens on LinkedIn. So, on LinkedIn, what you need is content brevity and something that triggers curiosity. What do I mean by content brevity? First of all, it has to be short. It doesn't have to be that long, because when it is long, you lose people. And besides, the first 3 lines, the first 2 lines are what people see in your headline. So if you make your headline too long, you are losing people already. Now you can have headlines like the popular, or how to do this, how I do this. I think that is a book I would recommend. You can get magnetic headlines from Copy Bloggers Post. It's a free resource. You can just it's a free resource they give when you log into their email platform. So go onto the Copy Blogger website, get that ebook and study it. It will help you. But on LinkedIn, I want you to know that have short have short headlines. For example, how to do this. Now, if it were on Instagram, you would say how to cut your food in half and make sure that you're a healthy mom and all of that. But on LinkedIn, you don't have that time. So you can, for example, how I meditate in a crowded place, how to gain lean muscle, how to make your headline more persuasive, or writing an experience session and you want to cry, here are 5 steps that can help. Trying to calculate your tax return and want to cry, here are 7 steps that can help. Who else wants a website that doesn't sound like every single sale on every single website on the planet? Who else wants a dog that listens? Why you are not respected, why you are not consistent in your decisions, plus how to fix it right away. Now, these things are short headlines that you know they would appear on the first 2 lines of your post before people click see more. Because the truth of the matter is 90% of posts that don't do well, oh, let me change that. Although copy blogger will tell you 90%, but I think that from my personal experience, 70% of posts that do not do well are due to poor headlines. The remaining 30% is due to formatting and content brevity. On LinkedIn, you have to understand that people are here to grow their account. They are not, this is not TikTok, this is not an entertainment platform where people just come to relax. If people are on LinkedIn, it's because they are looking for something. They are either finding a lead that is a qualified lead, or they are looking for somebody that suits their employing criteria to employ. So they want to read and go to the next one. And you are telling your whole life story, because I said storytelling sells. You are in for something. So that is what leads me to content brevity, where I say 30% of posts or posts that do not do well are because they are too long. Now, content brevity is aimed for when people open your post, the whole of your post should fit into one frame. The start of your picture or the carousel, whatever you're attaching, should start appearing immediately, so that when they open your post, when they click that see more, they see that, oh, this is not a long post, let me just read it and get over with. Oh, what is this person saying? Let me just read it and get over with. And then this is where you can now apply beautiful formatting strategies or beautiful formatting tactics that will make your post beautiful and easy to read. Because people first skim before they read. Before they read your whole post, they look for what is he saying? What is he saying? They look for where you have capital letters. So that's where you have to bolden your capital letters, make the important phrases bold or write them in capital letters. So when they see these ones that pique their curiosity, they are like, oh, this post is not even long, let me read it. Now you apply these two things, good headline and good content brevity, you end up having all your posts read all the time. Final question as I move into the kind of what is call to action necessary? Yes, 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 yes. Can I say it 100 times? Yes, call to action is very necessary. It's like telling something, telling somebody a story or having a discussion with somebody and then you don't finish it or you don't tell the person what to do, or you are having a conversation with somebody and you just walk out. That is the meaning when you don't put call to action. Now, a lot of people think that call to action are the normal things where we say, save this for later, no time right now, save for, maybe you want people to save your carousel and you're like, save this for later, no time right now, save this for later. So, save this before you scroll and lose it forever. Or where you want people to follow you and you write, follow for more free content on this topic. Maybe for me who talks about storytelling, I would say need more tips on storytelling, follow for more. Follow me for part 2 of Matthew Dick's storytelling framework. Do you find this content useful? Hit the follow button. Some people think that that is what call to action is. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. That is not what content, that is not all that there is to call to action. Call to action simply means ending your post powerfully, where people take out something from your post. You can end the post like, okay, there is this last post where I made where I said I didn't lack talent, I lacked action, I lacked consistency. That is a call to action, telling people to be consistent. A call to action could be a powerful ending of your post. And I think that because of lack of time, after this, you're just giving, there's this idea I just got now that after this, I'm going to make a post about how to end your post powerfully and give you a lot of phrases where how you can end your post. So please hit the follow button so you can, and the notification bell so you can be abreast when I release that post. Now, what I'm trying to say is call to action is not just what you tell people so they can follow you or they can comment or they can repost. Call to action are ways you end your posts that are powerful enough for people to take action, actionable things that people can take away from your post. If you end your post with um stop 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 scrolling through, start writing your dream life, that is a call to action. It doesn't have to be comment or save or follow or by the way. By the way, stop saying at the end of your post, stop saying comment your thoughts below or what are your thoughts. It doesn't work. If it has ever worked on you, then you can continue, but if it has never worked on you, then you should know that it will not work on people. It's boring. Now there are different enlightening ways you can. There are ways you end posts that people will feel like, oh, I resonate so much with this post, and they will be moved to comment. But another additional layer of making them to connect well is to add a PS. I do this for every post I make because attention span is short. No matter how short your post is, by the time people read 3 to 5 lines of post, they have forgotten what you're even talking about in the first line. In the last line, you have to add something that will make them comment. This is where you now get to ask a question. And I think that I've been making some kind of experiments. The questions and the PS that has really elicited a lot of engagement have been questions that are funny. Why? Because humor sells. LinkedIn is very rigid and professional enough. Try to add humor to your post. Try to write content that make people feel relaxed. Try to write content that doesn't put people on the edge and don't make people feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Oh, this post is directed at me. End your post with things that make them relax. I think the last 2 posts I did that got a lot of engagement was one I said, did I hit a nerve? That post about people removing open to work from your profile. Now I know that that post is going to get a lot of people agitated because people have that on their profile. So did I hit a nerve with an emoji? And you hear see a lot of people who do not even want to make a comment, who just want to read and pass, and they will say, "Yes, you hit many nerve." The other one was, is it too late to add my Netflix binge into this? Now you may say I'm not funny. How do I get around this? I'm not funny myself. I'm a very reserved person. So what do? I write all my posts and then I copy everything and take it to ChatGPT and I say, give me a PS that is funny that would make people engage this post. Simple. And you will get thousands of inspiration there you can use from and where you can add to get people relaxed and engage on your post. Now there are many things I would have loved to cover, but because of time, I think that this is enough. I hope that this is enough, that you have gleaned a lot of knowledge from this. And I look forward to seeing your tremendous and magnetic posts on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Can we go ahead and celebrate her? I mean, this is hot takes right there. Humor sells. So I'm about to I'm about to come up with all the funny things I know in this life. Thank you so much for sharing the fact that okay, nobody was born telling stories. Everybody has to learn it. I think one of the striking things I got tonight is that every story has a time and location. And then the whole analogy around story, once upon a time, so literally time, there lived, okay, now let me complete that story. There lived a man, and so that's where the location coming. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much for letting us know as well that every story has to have a moral, else it is a wasted story. And then she said yes, we should always give a call to action, right? And then nobody has a duplicated experience. It means that everybody has their own special experience, even if we're going through the same thing. Even if I'm a medical doctor or a founder, my experiences are different. Like I think there was a time somebody asked me, somebody said, "Ah, Phoenix is how many years?" I think as of the time she asked me, it was about a month, and she said, "What? Which one? 1 month?" I said, "Yes, Phoenix Gates is 1 month." And then spoilers alert, Phoenix Gates is actually registered. That's how we do things. Educated people. Like it's a founded business. Like literally registered. And then when we started hosting our lives, I think we were barely, I don't know, were we up more than a week or 2 weeks? We started our life on a high note. In fact, I was so daring that I entered DMs of some of the special um, top leaders or top voices on LinkedIn, and somehow they all busied me out. Of course, who would want to probably partner with a vision that hasn't yet kicked off? You know, of course, from face value, you can't decide who is a serious person or not. But then I'm grateful for everybody who bought into the vision. I'm talking about the likes of Mommy Olushola. I think I call her Mommy. Sorry, guys. I know that this is a professional platform, but then as much as possible, I like to spotlight people who believed so dearly in us as well. I can talk about from the very first day, I think it was Izu. I even suggested this idea to Mr. Izu. But then he kept saying the grace is sufficient for me. Okay, so and then I can talk about a lot of people who are right there. I think Mrs. Heavens as well. Literally every of our meetings, I can see Dr. Cheryl right there, one of our keynote note speakers, I think for last week, and then I'm so honored. There are many speakers who will be spotlighted on this platform. Like I'm saying this again as a form of break or interjection. If you know that you would like to share your winnings, your ideas, your strong points, and you're a thought leader in your niche, please reach out. Sometimes it can literally be, you know what is, it's literally like a preacher preparing sermon every week. It drains me. Like sometimes to even go into people's DMs to ask them. That was what Ella was saying. I just came into her DM. I was just looking for people who I had known for a while, who were given to storytelling, who didn't mind us being in their space, because I know that I had a couple of people who I was in their space, but I didn't think I was quite appreciated, which wasn't so bad. Of course, you get to decide who are the people that should directly be in your niche and stand by it. So I'm seeing a lot of people in the audience push who are really top voices. Yes, we've hosted Mrs. Janice before. We've hosted Dr. Amaka as well. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for giving your voice. I can see Precious Obo. Sir, I know you can hear me now. Hopefully, let me embarrass you here. Maybe you have some time for us as well. But then I'm so honored to have all of you come here. And for the Phoenix Gates group, thought leaders, you people are literally the ones who have been shaking the earth for me. I'm talking about people who believed. I can remember our first life. I think I was literally shaking because I had to be the strong one because everybody, it seemed to be a very new ground for most people. People who have been hosting lives will probably have maybe like 10 people, 20 people. They're not even bothered. They're so free. But then how do you explain? I think our first life, we had up to 300 attendees. And trust me, it was a quicker and a shaking thing. But then I really, maybe today is for introspection for me. I've been really stressed over the week, like I said. But then I totally appreciate everybody whose heart has been in this work. I can see Adu Joshua, my fighting partner, right? I can see MJ. MJ, our very first live on LinkedIn was me, Joshua, and Mojola Olua. Finally, I got that pronunciation. I'm going to buy Coke for myself. And then the story has just been amazing. Like I said, please, the reason why we're bringing out everyone right now is to find an opportunity. Like every time you come for a live, everybody here is literally the most active, and you don't want to be in a circle. One of the things I've noticed is that as you grow larger or you increase in your followers, if you take a break and become redundant, you might not have as much active followers. I think LinkedIn is one of the platforms that followers shift. It's like there's a circle. It's possible that you can even have I've seen somebody with 10,000 followers and the person will post and even one like, then I know that there was some form of break. So you actually want to be in the circle of people who are on currently pushing, be ongoing, pushing ongoing. Yes, okay, sorry for that tense. I know there's an error in that statement, but then you understand what I'm trying to say, right? You want to be in the midst of people who are currently pushing because somehow it makes the algorithm favor you. So I'm daring you now, just like Ella said, everybody currently on the platform, everybody currently beside you in the VIP lounge, just click. They are the people you need right now. Like I said, it will always be a social Saturday for you, right? So we've had a bit social Sunday more like. So every time you come out, you know that at least you connect with 200 persons. Imagine that everybody here connected with everybody here. Well, it's almost impossible, but then at least we can. Maybe we'll start with the following. Then, when you have more connects for next week, you can as well just reach out to connect closely with them because you actually need to have them closely in your sphere to have them engage on your content and all that. So, having given all this preamble, right? We're about to we have gotten to the right? And the next person I'll be introducing, well, I would give you a spoiler alert. As of last 2 weeks already, we knew he was coming because how I work with people who can be quite busy is that okay, you don't have time for us. Yes, do you have any opening? We can actually plan around you. So everything around this topic or these events kind of even aligned around him. We had to have. I'm going to say the truth, guys. I know that she has um, Ella has already probably just shared to us the content pillars, right? For me, I decided to just sit on educational and inspiration. Of course, I promote time to time because actually I have to promote the Phoenix Gates group. So if it wasn't because of Phoenix Gates group, I probably wouldn't do any promotion. I just like telling my personal stories and be making all the necessary moves I need to make because of course that certainly is a form of branding as well. And I thank you so much, Ella, for um, bringing that out clearly because of course it seemed to have become a narrative that maybe some people don't buy this, don't buy that. Me generally, actually, I'm not sure that I'm big on stories, but I know how to catch phone. That's what I do on my posts every day. I actually just enjoy myself, right? So, but then as I was saying, so we had to actually plan this event around him because we actually believed in a lot that was going to bring. And then we know that a lot of us, reason being as well, that a lot of us have been writing stories and we seem not to have made money out of it. So that was why we had to put in lead generation as well, so that everybody now knows that, okay, now let me even just go and open an account in all the platforms. Even if I'm not going to leave it, let me be looking at it. If anything happens to LinkedIn, I know exactly where else to go. I know how to direct people right to that place and all that. But then, because I've seen, I don't know, I've seen people banned like back to back, as in even influencers as well. So it means that, well, it's a good thing to prepare, but then, of course, we should always hope for the best. So our next keynote speaker is a reputable content marketing trainer, right? In his own right, he's renowned for his exceptional prowess in empowering entrepreneurs, digital marketers, and business owners to create content that builds global brand. I mean, he has worked with Samsung. Okay, if you don't know Samsung, no, there's no way you won't know Samsung. Let me not even give you that option. He has worked with Glow. Okay, yes. Glow is a telecoms owned by a Nigerian. I think it has spread in West Africa. I don't know about the world. Then he has worked with Binance as well. He's notably recognized as a top 20 LinkedIn creator worldwide. He's also a founder of a brimming community called the Wevolve. Now, I just want you to go ahead and react, right? Then I also want to take this opportunity to spotlight Mr. Izu Samuel, because he was the one who actually helped me with this link up. So Izu Samuel, please could you just where is he? Oh, he's not on stage. What happened? Okay, he's not here. Or Izu Samuel, are you here? Or it's just me not seeing you? Mr. Izu Samuel, another storyteller in his right. Are you here with me, or do I just go on?
Yes, I'm here, my dear. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. So I want to take this opportunity to probably let you spotlight him as well. Then we'll go into the questions immediately.
I didn't get that. Please say that again, please.
I said I had just given you an opportunity to just spotlight our speaker, and then we go straight into the questions.
All right, fantastic. It's been a fantastic segment today. So much has been learned. And one thing I believe about the power of storytelling is that you must be able to go to people that truly knows what storytelling is about, the operations and the business side of it, for you to learn. As opposed to theories, we need to start learning from people that actually do the work. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to, at this point, talk about someone that every one of you already know. Who doesn't know this gentleman, this intelligent man? If you know who I'm about to talk about, can you just show some emojis? Show some emojis if you can. He's a very intelligent man. I'm sure. I don't know why you're laughing. All of you are laughing whenever I laugh, but God have mercy on all of us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is someone that believes not only in what he carries, he also believes in what other people carries. I remember the first time we had a conversation, and truly and really, the way he responded and his lines of thoughts just told me that this man understands what storytelling and what content creation is about. Content creation is not just about the intelligent things you put out on the internet. It also says a lot about how you relate to people. And without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be introducing someone who knows and believes in building. He's created a lot of communities to support creators in Africa and the world at large. I don't really know. I'm not sure I need to introduce this one because he already is he's someone that many of you, if not all of you, knows about. So I'm going to say invite Mr. Oche Wright to just say hello to us and say a few things to us, and then I'm sure that the leader herself, Dr. Vivian, will throw her amazing questions to Oche Wright, and I'm sure that everyone here, when he's done with what he has to say and intelligent points he has to share with us, please prepare to come up on the stage to ask your questions. And I'm sure this is going to be a transformational moment as always. Mr. Oche writes, please, the mic is yours, my friend, and welcome on stage once again.
Hey, Mr. Izu, the way you've introduced me like this, I think you've set me up. You've set me up big time. But thank you, thank you. So I know that when, by the way, I think that Mr. Izu, I'm going to probably employ you. Sorry to say, please, I'm begging, because this kind of introduction, I have TEDx soon. Maybe you might want to come with me, and you'll be the one who's going to introduce me on stage because they would have their own host, right? But I think that I prefer yours apparently because this kind of hype. If they are giving me this kind of hype like this, I probably would have been, I would have been flying. But thank you very much. So, thank you very much, Dr. Vivian, as well. Thank you for putting this together. I know I remember that when Mr. Izu reached out and he said, the topic or come speak to us or come share with us rather about I think it was public speaking. So in my head I was like, public speaking. Me, that I'm an introvert. How? Right? But I think over time the topic was switched a bit, and I was like, oh, storytelling, perfect, my first love, let's go, baby. And I was really interested in this. So thank you very much, Mr. Izu. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, and everyone who's tuned in. Amazing speakers. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I've also learned a whole lot here as well, and I'm sure that everyone who's also listening has done so. So I don't think we have too much time. So Dr. Vivian, what do you think?
Amazing. I'm here already. So we're gonna just kick it in. Thank you so much, sir, again for being very open and so receiving. Like I'm gonna share this again. Most of the people we sometimes tell about the event, most times they don't even bother sharing the flyer. But it's the audacity. I said I'm going to share this because most times it makes me feel comfortable. Like I used to tell my Phoenix Gates guys, right? uh Flyers has been causing problems since the 19 BC, and then I realized that as soon as we contacted him. I mean, even today, he still shared the flyer. I'm just giving you tips, right? If you're an influencer here and we are going to call on you, please just know what makes us tick. Phoenix Gates, we love flyers a lot. I'm sure you used to see our posts everywhere. So that's part of our own plan actually to take over. So thank you so much, sir, for standing out like among so many speakers that we've invited over and over again. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm now talking about people who are, of course, the in-house people who were born to share flyers. Okay, so I'll be going straight into the question. So, sir, you're going to just I would want you to actually just school us tonight, right? But then I'll just ask the questions. I'll just ask or maybe just point out the questions as a point out or so that you just have a framework on everything we're going to be listening tonight, right? Um the question is basically this: what makes a compelling story in sales and marketing? Then how does one create a narrative that resonates with their target audience? Then please could you just give us some examples of successful storytelling campaigns? You could even start from yourself. Like already we had listed you working with Samsung, Glow, with Binance. You could just help us by so that we every other person who is hoping to work with those great brands will also probably learn the positioning of how to get those kinds of gigs. Then you could just tell us how storytelling can now connect to the very beginning of this event, generating leads. So, dear sir, the mic is yours. Thank you so much for coming once again.
All right, thank you, Dr. Vivian. Thank you so much for having me. I am going to try as much as possible to um, sort of be very brief because, Ella Manuel, you have said everything. There's nothing else to say. Oh. Everything you've said about storytelling is what it is, right? And I'm excited that you're able to pinpoint, you know.
Agree. Beg to
So maybe,
where
Ella,
you
you,
are.
Ella, you should school me, please, because we need to learn from you. But thank you very much for taking our time to buttress those points. It was very important. Um, all right, so I'm just gonna break. I think the first question you asked, I feel like it's in two parts. So to make it easier, I'll just break them into two. So first part was what makes a compelling story in sales and marketing. Um, I'll just give an example, right? So I remember that one time. This was like maybe a year or over a year ago or so. I was with this particular friend of mine. We were colleagues at the time. We had this brand we were working with or working for, and so we used to go in house to do a few things on Wednesdays and Fridays. So one of those days, we were seated together, and she was browsing through her phone. We're seated, beside each other rather, and she was browsing through her phone, just checking the internet. I remember that prior to her on her phone, we had been, talking a bit about uh, um, wedding gowns because she was trying to, she was in that stage, right? She had been newly proposed to and all of that. So she was trying to, source for all of those things, do her wedding shopping and all. So she was swiping through her phone, and I I noticed that she was giggling at some point a lot. So me now piqued my curiosity. So I kind of like moved closer to see what she was, giggling about. And she showed me a particular wedding gown that she had seen or swiped through on one of the wedding gown designers. And what really stood out for her, that she highlighted was the fact that she could connect with what that wedding gown said. Now, she had swiped through a lot of wedding gowns options. Some of them would say, so buy a wedding gown, $200. Our latest wedding gown line is out, so and so dollars, right? But this particular wedding gown, which she was so excited about, um, I think there was a story that the wedding gown conveyed, right? Which was, oh, this wedding gown is going to, wearing this wedding gown is, pretty much going to be like your um, dream experience, particularly because it's the day where you get to say I do. You get to look into the eyes of your lover and profess all the love in the world, and just be happily I'm sorry, be happy on that day, and all of that. So she was like, that's the wedding gown for her. This is the one she's going for, and all of that. Now, me, I already knew what was happening, obviously, because I was in marketing and all, right? I already knew what exactly had, happened at that point, because she had swiped through some other options, other beautiful designs as well. But this particular one was the one that caught her fancy. So it wasn't just about the design itself, right? I think it was more importantly the story that that wedding gown conveyed, right? And that's why I like to always say that um, the greatest elements, or what really makes a compelling story when it comes to sales or in marketing generally, is relatability, right? Because it's that's being relatable enough that makes people tick. We're all humans. When it comes to, excuse me, when it comes to content creation, or in this case, content marketing, the goal of content is not information. The goal of content is connection, right? So trying to build that connection with your audience is only, or it can only happen through storytelling. Now, I'll give you an example again. So when I got on LinkedIn, right at the time, I think even before I got on LinkedIn, I mean, I was dabbling around Instagram a bit and trying to, build there as well. And I remember that when I started talking about marketing, I was very, very professional. I was giving all the jargons, all those marketing heavy terms, right? I'm speaking all the marketing grammar, feeling fly, and all of that. But I wasn't getting the results I was hoping to get. I wasn't getting that engagement I was hoping to get, or building that connection I was hoping to build. And so I stopped and said, okay, what do I do differently? Now, at the time, this was also when I discovered LinkedIn, thanks to Gary Vee, because I had known about LinkedIn prior to then. This was 2020, but I think Gary was the one that really pushed the message of LinkedIn during lockdown, if you were paying attention at the time. So I got on LinkedIn. I was like, this place is already a very professional place. We're very serious. Everybody's on suit and tie. What am I going to do? And so I said, okay, you know what? Instead of doing it the conventional way, I would rather tell stories, or I would take all the information that I have and sugarcoat them in stories. And that's what I started to do. So all that heavy grammar I was doing before that wasn't paying off. By the time I put out a few stories and I saw the amazing response to get, I said, yes, I've caught you guys. And so I said, you know what, we're dying here in storytelling. And that's how I started to use storytelling to create content. I've done everything possible that I can do. Well, I'm still discovering other things. But guys, I have acted. I have acted as a person that kidnapped somebody. I have acted as, oh my God, I've I've done all of those things I didn't think I would do. But it was simply because I was trying to use that to communicate in a way that my audience will become relatable. So I wasn't telling you, hi guys, this is 5 tips to use to create content. I would take that and then put it in a story, and tell you about how, think of content marketing like dating. Everybody can relate with dating, relate to the relationship. So think of a content marketing from that approach. And that way, it was easier for me to paint the picture of what content marketing really entailed using these stories, and more importantly, connect with my audience, right? So the greatest element, or what really makes your storytelling to be compelling, It's not all those plenty. We have this um perception that storytelling has to be this very big bogus thing. So many people will say, "Oh no, I don't know how to tell the story." So I was like, "You do know how to gist. If you know how to gist, not tell a story, right?" But I think it's just knowing how to strategically outline your or structure your story, which obviously you would find in the place of consistently trying to write or create these stories. So doing that really changed the game for me. Building that relatability in my content. With that, I started to get results. I started to Brown started to reach out to want to work with me. Oh, guys, we love your content. Oh, we love how you able to tell your own stories. Can you do this for us? I remember the first time your brand ever reached out to me to create content, and I was like, okay. And they were like, can we pay you to create this content? I was like, oh, okay. I was going to tell them my price. And they were like, oh, this is the budget we have. I was like, oh my God, it was like times three of the price I was going to mention. I said, oh, yes, 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 yes. Fine, fine. Yes, we can. Of course, we can. We should. That's a good price. Right? But my point again is that this all of this started to happen, or I started to get these opportunities to, um, because of the way that I was telling my own story, or using storytelling in my own content. So if you're trying to create your content and you're trying to leverage storytelling as a tool, don't think of it as this crazy impossible thing, right? It's trying to keep it simple and just sharing your thoughts in the most simple way possible. So don't try to overcomplicate things. I was going around, I hit my leg on stone, no, 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 no. Right? Just share your perspective, and most importantly, make sure that you're sounding human. Because guess what? The most human brand wins today. So it's in how well you're able to communicate or infuse that humanity into your content or into your communications generally, that's going to help you to stand out or going to help you to win in the long run. So first element of or major elements of storytelling is relatability. Now the second part of that question was, how does one create a narrative that resonates with your target audience? Okay, I would say that the first um, step to this would be knowing who your audience is. And I'm saying knowing who your audience is because if you a lot of the times, I know that when we get on social media to start to build brand, or when we try to start to create content, because a lot of people are now creating content, we might just try to wing things, right? But the truth is that it's very important to sort of like know your audience, because it's going to inform everything that you do. It's going to inform the way that you position. It's also going to, most importantly, inform the way that you communicate, right? So know your audience, who wants to hear your story, who's interested in that kind of story, who is going to benefit and respond to that story. Because one of the things you preach in content marketing is that it's not just telling stories, oh, it's not just creating content, oh no. It's about how that content can be able to bring you profitable, in quote, profitable results. Whether those profitable results includes getting a client to buy from you, or getting someone who saw your content refer you to someone. That's happened multiple times for me. Or even as little as joining your community, or even as little as sharing your posts, right? So knowing your audience, knowing how they would react to your story, would greatly help you in knowing how you can then communicate that story or create a compelling story that will get to build that connection, an emotional connection you're looking to build with them. So know your audience, first step. And then second thing which follows that immediately is now knowing how to communicate to your audience. Because if you know your audience, then you can better know what they would like to listen to, what they would like to hear, what they would like to consume, and how they would like to consume those things. So, for example, the reason why I transitioned to videos, it wasn't just because videos were gradually becoming the in thing, but it was also mostly because for me, I noticed that with the kind of storytelling I was trying to portray or do or engage in, I needed I needed people to see it, all right, and it would help me to get the results I was looking to get better, and which it did. Once I switched and started to do or engage more in video content or use videos to tell my stories, I went from 1x, whatever x, to like 10x of that. Right. So it's very important that if you know your audience, then you now know how to communicate to your audience, or how to refine your message in a way that you can sell that to them. So yes, pretty much. Now the second question. Oh, okay. Dr. Vivian mentioned to give examples of successful storytelling campaigns. Oh my God, there's like a lot of them because again, I think that most people, or most brands rather, are also beginning to understand the importance of storytelling. So many of these brands are actively doing that, whether it's foreign brand, international brands, or brands here locally here in Nigeria. Many of them have now understood that, oh, okay, people like storytelling, so let's leverage that rather than just throw their products in your face directly, right? So there's multiple brands that I can pinpoint that are actively doing storytelling right today, but I cannot, I can never. I still think that we need to give this particular brand the ultimate storyteller of um, our existence, and that's Nike. So we can't. I feel like Nike started to do storytelling even before storytelling became a thing. I know there's the likes of Apple and all of that, but trust me, the way that Nike does their storytelling, it's you can't find that anywhere. It's very different, but more importantly, it's very relatable, right? So I think that Nike has one of the best storytelling campaigns out there. Every single campaign that they release would grasp your attention, but more importantly, you'll connect with it almost immediately. You'd almost feel like going out there to buy a Nike shoe or a Nike pair of boots just to, be a part of that story because of how well we're able to connect with it. So I will always put Nike at the top. And I think one of my favorite storytelling campaigns from them has to be the one titled Equality. And that was the one where they used a few celebrities like Serena Williams, and a few other people where they were trying to talk about how um, it doesn't matter your sex, whether you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter your race, whether you're black or white, we're all equal. So we should be able to think of opportunities equally, right? And so everyone was open to lead, everyone was open to enjoy these opportunities. And it really showed because I think it was also the time where we were trying to, I think this was like 2017, 18-ish, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a time where the whole black racism thing was happening a whole lot. So we could all relate with that, right? Then another brand that I think really executed their storytelling campaign properly is I don't know if you guys know about Dove. I'm sure you guys do. If you use their skincare product, they're like a beauty brand. If you use their skincare products, you would definitely know about them. Dove, and they recently did not recently. It's been a while. They had this campaign where they use. You know how most skincare brands would want to use very light skinned ladies without spots, who are spotless and all those things. But they decided to go the other route, and they weren't exactly trying to use light skinned ladies who were spotless, right? I think they used every other woman you could relate with. It didn't have to be skinny or slim, light skinned, tall looking, spotless ladies. And that created a sense of relatability as well. Many people resonated with that, particularly because women could see themselves in that, right? In that story. So you didn't have to be perfect. Skincare wasn't just for a certain group of people, or looking good rather. And so that really helped with what they were trying to do, and it helped them to see a whole lot of turnover from that, right? So I think that they also had like great storytelling. Now bringing it back home, um, Hmm. I really love what Eto has been doing with their storytelling. They even did like a series one time. I remember when they had this series where they had Latif, can't remember his full name. He was like married to a particular woman, and the two grand mother-in-laws came to the house to stay with them, and there was like a bit of issue here and there. I don't know if you guys remember those ads then. I remember that we used to tune in to watch TV just simply because of the ads, not because of the TV program. It was because of the ads. So I think they really killed it too. And of course, GT kills it every time. But I particularly love GT's GT Bank, right? I particularly love their 737 campaign, which they did that time. It broke the internet. And then, of course, Airtel's 444, whatever it's called. So I think these are some of the brands that have really done well. But also, some of the brands I've worked with directly, um, Glow has been killing it recently with their campaigns. I've worked with on some campaigns with them, and we've seen that for every time we engage in a particular campaign that's leveraged storytelling, we saw 10x, in the growth. So I can 100% assure you that storytelling works, or as we would call it in marketing, story selling. So these are some of the campaigns that I think have done us fairly well. If you don't know about storytelling, storytelling as a whole, to sort of like communicate a or a brand's value. So you can check my page out and you find some of those things. Another question again that Dr. Vivian asked is, how can we use storytelling to generate leads? And I think this is really important because just like I said earlier, one of the major things we always um, try to not forget is that content marketing should give you profitable results. Now, the problem, however, is that most of us creators today, we might get caught up in just creating content, right? Just creating content because maybe because the content is now a buzzword and everybody is probably doing it, obviously because of the importance that people have seen it bring. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, but I think that a lot of people are also getting caught up in just creating content. Oh, I'm just gonna make a post. Oh, I'm just gonna share a video. Or I'm just gonna share a meme, and then you might do that and struggle to see profitable results. So, which begs the question: how are you using? How is your marketing? How's your content? Getting people to converting to leads, or getting people to even think about buying your product, subscribing to your service, or even just being a part of your community, right? So it's a very important question to always bring to light. How is this content I'm creating going to generate leads? Or in quote, how is this storytelling I'm using going to generate leads? Right now, let me just give you a brief sample of perhaps how this whole storytelling works. Now, can you guys still hear me? Please give me an emoji if you can still hear me. Let me be sure. Okay, great. All right, thank you. So now one day there was this particular lady, Susan. So Susan saw a post that said how dyeing my hair started my life-changing journey, right? And immediately, okay, she was scrolling through the internet and it won her interest and she stopped and read it. She decided to read the post. So after reading the post, she became curious about this hairstylist. So she decided to click on that post, or the person who posted or made that post. She decided to click on their profile and check them out quickly, right? Now, a quick let me check them out quickly became 1 hour. She spent literally an hour on their page, and that's how she couldn't stop checking out their content. So this made her curious about their service, and so she decided to click on their website. So you see that there's a journey there. She decided to click on their website, and then one of the services that this particular hairstylist offers caught her eye, and guess what? She booked them. She booked for that service. So if you take it back, you see that there was a journey to these things. And first of all, what happened? It caught her interest simply because the creator of that post or the hairstylist didn't say, "Hi, 5 tips. These are the 5 products you sell or 5 services you offer as hairstyling." She instead used a story and said, "How dyeing my hair started my life changing journey." Now she could have easily said, given an educational post and said, "5 tips to have a great hair," right? But instead, she wrapped all of that and put it in a story. And if I'm scrolling through that and obviously I'm thinking about that, I'm going to be interested because, again, relatable, right? I like gist. I want to know what's going on. So how dyeing my hair started my life changing journey? Okay, let me listen to you. Let me check what you're talking about. And from doing that, picked her curiosity, and from being curious about, or from catching her interest rather, it made her curious about the particular brand. It made her curious about that business or what service that they offer. And so she went to check more. And then in the process of doing that, she connected to them, or she connected to that brand. From connecting to that brand, guess what? She booked her service. So you see that there's a journey, right? And that's what happens to our quote and unquote customer or target customer or potential or leads, as you might call them. For everybody who comes across your content, who's a target, who is a potential customer, there are different stages when they come across your content, right? So that's why if you're spending time just telling people, buy my products, buy my marketing is not buy my products, buy my products, buy my service, subscribe to my service, right? So if you're spending time doing that, you're already missing out because some people have not gotten to that stage yet. There are different awareness level, and a lot of them have not gotten there yet. So for Susan, because she followed the content that she came across from the hairstylist, took her through a journey. it helped her to, first of all, the content caught her interest. It made her curious about the brand or the business and the services that they offer. And then she built a connection, with that brand and then booked their service. So that's what storytelling helps you to do. It helps to take your audience, or your target audience rather, or potential customer, from one point in their awareness level to the other point, down to the very point where you want them to take an action. Whether that action includes buying your service, subscribing to your service, buying your product, referring you to someone else to buy your product, liking your post, sharing your post so that other people that need your products can see, or even joining your community. Whatever that action is, they are now you've prompted them to take that action better. So you see that it's a journey, right? So don't think of it as a I mean, I've had many people say, oh my god, the last one of my clients, who I'm currently having a consulting session with, we're talking yesterday, and the way she found me was on TikTok, right? She found my TikTok content, one of the posts I shared. she it caught her interest. She went through my page, checked more, spent about so and so number of minutes on my page. From there, she said, okay, you're on LinkedIn. She went to check on LinkedIn. She checked me again on, I think, on Instagram, before she now reached out to me to ask, make inquiries, and then book a service. So there was a journey there, but it started from somewhere, and that's what storytelling helps you to do. It takes your audience from, one point of their awareness level to the other, but they do that without feeling like you are trying to sell to them. And you know that people don't like to be sold to, but they like to buy. But they want to be able to feel like they're the ones that convince themselves, and not you who convince them, because that's a red flag. Everybody likes to hold on to their money when it comes to buying stuff, right? But they are easily willing to buy when it doesn't feel like they were forced to, or when it doesn't feel salesy, as we would say in marketing. So that's one of the major things that storytelling helps you to achieve. It helps take your audience, or your target audience, or potential leads, or leads rather, from one point in their awareness journey to the point where you want them to take an action. All right. So how do you do this? First of all, it's good that you're very clear about your messaging, right? Define your messaging. Is your storytelling selling the product? Is it raising funds? Is it trying to help you to become the next governor of the state or president of the country? So, explaining your service, or is it trying to even advocate for an issue? You don't have to be selling a product or a service directly, right? For example, I'm currently building something where I think, for me, right, I'm a creator and I've been doing this for a while, but I really think that as creators, we haven't really built, Nigerian creators particularly, we haven't really built that global resonance like we should. Maybe the thing that has really helped us, or the element that's really helped us as Nigerian, in the creative industry, is music, the Afrobeat people, right? But I think that it can be more. I think that writers, whether you're a writer, whether you're a storyteller, whether you are a graphic artist or a graphic designer, whether you're a website, as long as you're a creator, I think that we are skilled enough or talented enough to build a global resonance. And so I'm trying to currently build Evolve to do necessarily being that creators do that. So so that's also means do that. So define the beginning of your story. Is it when you're able to understand these elements, to define your message clearly, you can then be able to tell your story better. So to help you do this, I want you to try to summarize your story, quote and unquote, in like 6 to 10 words. Now, if you can't do that, then you don't have a core message. So summarize that story you're trying to tell to the world in like 6 to 10 words. If you can't do that, then you don't have a core message. So try as much as possible to make it very simple, right? Like anybody can, if they mention your name, they can almost think, oh my god, that's what that person is trying to push, or that's the story that person is trying to, advocate for. Now, this will greatly help you to be able to move on to the next stage, which is to incite action. Because remember that what I said earlier, that the whole point of storytelling is not just to get people in their feelings, but it's to help them to take an action. But because people don't believe in taking an action when they are forced to, what do? We cajole them, we nurture them, as marketing terms would use, right? We pet them into doing that. And storytelling is one of the most effective ways to do that, to get to the point where they can take an action that we're desiring for them to take. So your story should be able to incite action. That means your story should be able to describe how maybe, for example, you completed a successful action in the past, and then you can now explain or storify how your audience or your readers might be able to create that same kind of change, right? And by doing that, you're already telling them that, oh, they too can take the particular action that you're trying to tell them to take, and get the results that they desire to get. And then most importantly, talk about genuine humanizing struggles, failures, and wins. Don't Storytelling is not just trying to show the good parts or the good news, right? It's about taking people through a journey, and don't forget that a journey has its ups, it has its downs, it has its highs, it has its lows as well. So don't ignore the failures, right? Don't just focus on the wins. Besides, the our today's consumers or potential customers, they connect to brands that market with authenticity. So your storytelling should be able to reflect your authentic self, right? You should be able to show that authenticity as an element in what you are communicating. And I do that a lot. For example, I know that LinkedIn has bad perception. So even when I tell some of my creator friends and I try to drag them, come on LinkedIn, it's a great place. The first thing that place that you people are always too overcomplicating things. If I go there, now everybody's trying to intimidate everybody and just trying to be a fake person, and all of that. And so what I try to do as much as possible on my own platform is I'm not trying to be somebody else or try to glamorize everything I'm doing. I'm very authentic as the world can get, right? Particularly because, again, I also don't want to push a narrative that's not true. But more importantly, I also want people to be able to relate with what I'm doing, what I'm saying, or what I'm advocating for. All right. So these are some of the ways that you can, be able to use storytelling to create the kinds of content that can generate leads. Don't forget, guys, like I always say, the variable of success for every single person here today, whether you're a creator, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are whatever it is you're doing, even if you're trying to run for seats to become the next president, the greatest variable of success today is in how well you're able to tell your story, right? And because you don't want people to tell that story for you, why don't you pick your own pen or take up your own electronic devices and start creating content that shares your own story? All right, thank you. I don't want to take too much time.
Amazing, amazing. I wish I could just start screaming. I mean, this is so, so amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So. I can't really, I don't know. I'm trying to articulate the right word. But then thank you so much for going through all of the nitty gritties. But then I wanted to ask something, right? I understand that maybe a lot of people here are currently creating content and they've not had an opportunity to work with Nike, with Glow, with is there, I think that was part of my questions. How do people get gigs or that kind of opportunity? Because I know a lot of people just create story contents who are actually chief into. So I'm asking for other people who are here who literally haven't said anything in that direction. Is there a how, or people just find you and just give you that opportunity? I'm just curious, just to disturb you a bit.
Okay, great question. So again, right, I don't want you guys to think of it. So it's like re-engineering it, right? Don't think of it like trying to get a gig with Nike. And here's why. So when I got on LinkedIn, for example, I'm using LinkedIn because we're obviously on LinkedIn, right? I was not trying to be like what we might call it work with Glow or work with um those brands. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to solve a problem, right? And I think that's the foundation of everything. I wanted to solve a problem. I said, okay, what problem can I solve? It's very clear that I'm content. That's what I'm pushing. That's what I'm advocating for, especially content marketing, right? So, and pick a problem. That's the foundation of everything. Pick a problem. Be clear of that. Be clear about that problem that you want to solve. Then wake up every day. Maybe not every day, but wake up as consistently as you can, and then focus on solving that problem for one person, for two people, for five people, for 10 people, using your content because you can't go to their houses, right? So using your content, focus on solving a problem for this one, two, three, four, five people. Now, here's what happens from that. 91 opportunities can pop out from that. And that's, I'm using my own story as a focal point. Um, from creating content that was solving issues about content marketing, here's what I did. I built a community. I started to build a community. Now, a community of people that were interested and excited about the things the conversations I was bringing to the table. And from doing that, I had a rich amount of people who were willing to either buy from me directly or indirectly. So when the brands in quotes, started to see that, okay, this person is first of all solving a particular problem for a group number of people. Um, how can we be able to partner with that? How can we be able to work with that? So the brands didn't come to me. Now the brands are, you might think, you might look at it as just influencer marketing, but there was a journey. The brands didn't necessarily come to me because they were trying to work with me. They came to me because there was an ultimately there was a problem, there was a foundational problem I was already solving, which built interest and and provided value for my potential audience, or community, as the case might be, right? And these brands wanted to tap into that. And so it became an in for them to also do two things: work with me to create awareness for their brand, and also basically get to also work with me to make sure that I'm generating awareness for to my community about the problem that they are also solving, which is obviously relatable. So my point again is that don't look at it as trying to work with the Nikes or the Coca-Colas. Pick a problem, focus on that problem, solve it for your immediate audience. It's called your smallest viable audience. But guess what? Your smallest viable audience are the ones who are going to spread the word about you, so much so that the people that are there in those brands, the people that are working, the brands are people, have people that work for them, right? And they are seeing your stuff. A lot of how my gigs came through these brands is, oh, I'm working as the head of partnerships at Coca at so and so brand. I follow you on LinkedIn. I love your stuff, and we want you to work. We want to work with you, right? So I I I I know people like the idea of going to DMs to send great, amazing, but me, I'm an introvert and I hate no. So I decided to do what I can do, and so I focus more on attracting these people by solving a problem, providing value for my immediate community, which ultimately, generates birthed many of the ways that I work with different people. So that's how it works for me.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. This is so beautiful. So we're going to be going into the next part of this meeting. Kindly just raise your hand if you're interested in asking questions. And then I would also wanted to say that actually, while preparing for this meeting, I actually watched a documentary where they said a I think was it a plastic banana was actually supposed to be posted on a web page, and then a group of content marketers or content writers were called to write on that plastic banana. And then by the time they were done writing, the plastic banana was initially put up on sale for, was it $7? By the time they were done writing, that same banana with a well written um content was sold as, was it 700 and something. So that got me thinking, and I actually knew the importance of this event. I had to tell my community, man, if you need to make money, you actually have to come around to hear people discuss these things. And then one of the things I loved was the fact that Mr. Ochera actually gave a broader vision. So literally everything happening, every vibe around Harris right now or Trump is actually storytelling. Like every campaign message, every speech, every debate is around stories. So it means that storytelling is not for, if you're currently in the audience and you're wondering, right, I don't really need this thing. No, you actually need it to convince people in order to partner with you. Like he said, now he's currently building Wevolve. So I don't know, do you have a link? I don't know how we can join the, because I'm actually part of your community, it's official. But then if you could let us know how we can as well get the link to your community, that is the Wevolve, you could just let us know on how to get that done. But then I'm going to be accepting people right now for the questions. Like I said, please, the questions should be short and simple, very short and simple. Please don't, no unnecessary preamble, because we have a lot of people that will be coming up. So Yusuf, the mic is yours. I've let you in.
right, good. A mythical bird that rises from its ashes, embodying renewal, strength, and transformation. This year, the Phoenix Gate Group has channeled its spirit to inspire, connect, and empower professionals worldwide. Under the visionary leadership of Dr. Vivian Magnus, founder and lead coach, we have soared to new heights. Let's take a moment to celebrate the achievements, milestones, and impact of this past 4 months. In just 4 months, Phoenix Gate has strengthened its professional network of nearly 1,000 members. Together, we have reached over 30,000 professionals in the US, UK, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. From LinkedIn sessions that drew nearly 1,000 attendees weekly to live events attended by 16,000 individuals, our reach and influence have been extraordinary. The hard work and dedication of the Phoenix Gate team have not gone unnoticed. This year, our community was Legend Tales of the Phoenix, a mythical